Welcome. Let's talk about NXT from December 20th, 2022. News and notes. First note, we got to talk about Mandy Rose. It came out today via TMZ that Mandy Rose is making $500,000 off her sexy content. She made $500,000 on fan time in 1 week. This comes from an actual source. Her agent, Malki Kawa, tells us, or being TMZ, that the 32-year-old has earned a whopping $500,000 from her fan time page since she got the axe. It says she's looking forward to being a millionaire by Christmas. So this conversation has led to a lot of the go ahead girl, get your money. The simp bucks pour in because they're like, oh no, she's unemployed now. She definitely needs my $40. Okay. Look, I'll never get caught doing the simp bucks, man. I'm not paying for pictures, man. No. But there's people out there willing to do it. I just say, look at all of these women. They know the trick. Just take off your top. Take off your bottoms. And we got R. Kelly in prison. We got Harvey Weinstein getting charged with rape. And these women continue to throw their bodies at people for benefits. And then we're told 10, 15 years later that they were exploited and put upon. Scarlett Johansson is coming out talking about how she was exploited because she was a beautiful young actress, and all of these women do it. It's like, come on, man. It is what it is. I don't want to go down that road. All these, let me touch the hem of her garment. Cent bucks, fine. Do your thing, sister. I'm not mad. I'm glad, actually. She made $500,000 in a week. Woof. That's a lot of cake, man. Maybe she'll make so much money, all the other chicks who just want to be models will go and chase that dream too. It came out that Lana supposedly made more money off her subscription service than she made in WWE too. And let's do a little before we get into NXT. Matter of fact, this kind of ties into NXT too. Let's diverge into that a little bit. Not going to be here very long, trust me. But what people don't seem to understand here is that when they say that these people are making more money off of their subscription services or whatever, there's a lot of people who uncharitably say, well, that just shows that wrestlers are criminally underpaid. Instead of realizing that it's a completely different industry, right? Modeling and wrestling are two different industries. You have a different value in those different industries. If you are a great model, not that much of a good wrestler, then when you model, you will make more money modeling. Therefore, is it a surprise that the women who are extremely beautiful, like Toni Storm and Mandy Rose and Lana, can make a ton of money on subscription services? No, it's not a surprise to me at all. They're models. So many of them are models already. Mandy Rose was a bodybuilder before she became a wrestler. She was already modeling. Lana was already an actress and a dancer, and this stuff is easy for her. Toni Storm was already modeling and doing stuff like this. It's not that difficult. They have a different value wrestling than they do for modeling. The pay curve is different. Also, when you're modeling, you have a little bit more control because you're controlling how the pictures look, how they come out, and all that kind of stuff. As opposed to in wrestling, where you're not in control whether you win or lose. Sometimes you're not even controlling your own outfits. Also not controlling whether you get TV time or not, and all that kind of stuff. As you see, Toni Storm had been on TV in like a month. So this stuff is not that big of a surprise to me that they can make more money on through cent bucks than they can through wrestling. That's where the greater value is for them. They're beautiful women. Some of them, like Mandy Rose, have fake boobs. They may have fake lips. They may have fake whatever. And guys are willing to pay to talk to them and spend time with them. Big deal. It's a completely different industry than wrestling. In between the ropes, she's worth this much money. She's worth more doing pictures. So if she decides she wants to do pictures, she can make more money over there. Fine. She's in a different industry. Don't care. It has nothing to do with wrestlers being underpaid. Most of the time, athletes make more money doing commercials than they do playing the game. It happens. All right. let's move into NXT. First match, Axiom versus Carmelo Hayes. The match was good, but it was a weird dynamic where the crowd wanted the face to lose. The face being Axiom in this position. Carmelo Hayes, when in doubt, went for Axiom's mask, which is, common lucha trick. Axiom hit a top rope hurricanrana, which was insane, but I really didn't care for it because they were holding hands at the top on the top rope. It's like, God, how long are you going to hold this guy's hand standing up there? Trick Williams distracted Axiom by grabbing his head and slamming him down. This led to Carmelo Hayes hitting his big finish, the big leg drop. I really hope he invests in a different finish that won't tear up his tailbone. Axiom took that bump pretty ugly too. Like, he took it on his head and neck, which he probably shouldn't have. And he won the match. So Carmelo Hayes wins. Axiom, after the match, ends up jumping onto Trick Williams, but didn't really change too much. Not surprised that Carmelo Hayes won. It was the right decision. Carmelo Hayes was not done for the evening, of course. He went face-to-face with Apollo Crews later. So Apollo Crews said that he believed in all of his heart that he would be the NXT champion, that, he would win the title that he came back for. And just because he got knocked down a few pegs, he's going to be back because Vengeance Day is NXT going on the road. And as he was saying this, Carmelo Hayes interrupted, said that, the vision is clear. How can you see the NXT title from the back of the line? Saying that he was next and he's going to pull Apollo Crews' jersey in the rafters. Apollo Crews said he expected more from Melo and that no matter how good you are, there's always somebody better. And the challenge was essentially laid down, but I don't think it was actually like the match was actually made. But I'm 100% down for a Carmelo Hayes Apollo Crews match, and I definitely think Carmelo Hayes needs to win that match. This is lovely. I don't dislike this at all. Apollo Crews came out with a pretty plain Jane promo. I was expecting some fire out of this guy. Him going back and forth with Carmelo Hayes is going to end up turning Apollo Crews because the crowd is really behind Melo now, which they should be because he's legitimately awesome. He's legitimately tremendous. But they are slow rolling his push, but maybe he'll get that Vengeance Day match and all things will be well. All right. Next, we got Grayson Waller. Grayson Waller is inspired by Roxanne Perez and says he's calling his shot. He wants his title shot tonight. Braun Breaker isn't there, though. He's supposedly in North Carolina doing media for Vengeance Day. And Grayson Waller says, yep, he's going to be in the ring, so he better show up or something bad's going to happen. So then Grayson Waller spent the rest of the night calling out Braun Breaker, popping up in random places. And he did that all night. Essentially, he just popped up in a place, interrupted what was going on, really, and asking people or trying to call out Braun Breaker. And it all led to the closing moment of the show where Grayson Waller got in the ring, says that he wants his NXT title match right now, that he's the biggest star in NXT and has been carrying the company the whole year. And then said Braun Breaker likes to bark because he thinks that he got that dog in him, but he don't. Then all of a sudden we see Braun Breaker pop up. So apparently he drove from North Carolina to Florida in an hour and some change. I don't believe that. I don't believe that. In any event, Blockhead Braun jumps in the ring, immediately spears Grayson Waller and is knocked unconscious. Grayson Waller does the old Bret Hart trick and has a metal plate hidden under his, what was that, a squirrel skin coat that he was wearing? Anyway, Grayson Waller crowed about how he outsmarted Braun. He'll outsmart him again at New Year's Evil and win the title. Not a bad ending to the show. Grayson Waller continued to sell the spear even though he was wearing a metal plate, which shows that he's infinitely more professional than Bret the Hitman Hart, who did not sell the spear at all. After getting speared by Bill Goldberg with the metal plate, Bret didn't sell the metal plate at all. So Grayson Waller, I guess you can give him a 7 out of 10 on the Bret Hart scale for actually utilizing a Bret Hart maneuver and doing it slightly better than Bret. I know I'm going to get trolled for that, but I'm just going to go with that anyway. All right. And leave it to Sean to book Grayson Waller to do a Bret Hart spot. I think Grayson Waller needs a heavy. Like, he needs somebody with him. I don't know who that could be. I know they played around with Sanga, and then they immediately took him away. It was only like 2 weeks. He needs like a Tom Cole or a Luther Reigns or somebody that's just there to take bumps and distract and not try to be the star or try to take over or anything like that. That's kind of what he needs. He's like a bodyguard or something like that. It's just, that's kind of what we need. I get Scumbag, Miz. Like in the old days, he probably would be a manager. He probably wouldn't wrestle. He'd probably be a manager. But in today's world, he still needs to be a mouthpiece for somebody else. I think that's the one thing missing from Grayson Waller is that he needs to have somebody with him. Either that or he needs to become extra crafty, kind of like Edge was, you know. But I don't think they're going to go the Edge route with Grayson Waller. So he needs to have somebody physically big with him. That's just me, though. All right. So Tony D'Angelo, he's hanging out with his boy Stacks. He announces that he has a North American Championship match next week, but he doesn't want Dijak getting in his business. So he wants to send Stacks around there to tell Dijak to mind his business and to stay out of the Don's face. So Stacks is like, you ain't gonna do that right now? He's like, nah, I want you to do it tomorrow. Nah, of course I want you to do it right now. So Stacks goes around there to go bother Dijak. Didn't turn out too well for him, but he did it anyway because he does what his boss tells him to do. Wes Lee cut a promo later. We're going to skip that though because it was boring and he sucks. So the match is Tony D'Angelo versus Wes Lee next week. I hope that Tony D'Angelo will win, but I already know he probably won't. It's just the nature of NXT nowadays where, you know, these boring ass sumbitches keep getting pushed over people who have, you know, potential and characters and charisma. And, you know, Tony D'Angelo might be something one day. So, of course, we got to have him lose to fucking Wes Lee. Just like we had Zoe Stark beat Nikita Lyons. I was pretty upset about this. Then I said, you know, I don't really care. You know, I guess it is what it is. I kind of saw this coming. You know, Nikita Lyons was a big thing during the whole Vince McMahon era when she, you know, trending during NXT 2.0. And she was a big deal. And, you know, since the re-takeover, I guess you could say, they've done everything possible to diminish Nikita Lyons. She's been nothing but, she hasn't even cut a promo. I think she may have cut one promo in this entire feud with Zoe Stark. Maybe two, you know, and she's been looking like a goof the entire time. And now she gets beat like a goof too, because she didn't interfere with the match at Deadline to cause Zoe Stark the match. She wasn't put in it to fight Zoe Stark. And now they have a one-on-one match that was not in any way promoted, and she loses, even though Zoe Stark cheated. It's all just been one-sided. It's all been about Zoe Stark the entire fucking time. She's become essentially the girl version of Austin Theory. How dare she get over? You know, now we have to punish her by having her put over Zoe Stark, who Triple H likes more. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to go with the work rate girl who, you know, can't get over on her own. So we're going to team her up with with somebody with some real charisma. But then the person with charisma is going to do all the jobs and then not get any of the face time or any of the interest at all. She's been completely and totally diminished. And I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one who sees it this way. I can't be. You know, they have made Nikita Lyons look terrible in this entire feud. She has not looked good. She hasn't even come out and chased Zoe Stark away or anything. She hasn't done nothing. She's looked like a fucking moron this entire goddamn feud. And it's been embarrassing. Hopefully it's over. God, I hope it's over. I don't want to see fucking Zoe Stark has got nothing when she goes off on her own. So we'll probably see the force Nikita Lyons to drag her along into this feud even more. And Nikita Lyons won't get to cut a promo. She'll have to do TikTok videos or whatever because that's what they think she is. And then that's it. Because Zoe Stark, you know, she was some indie wrestler or some shit like that, so she gets preferential treatment. The entire gimmick is she put on a black jacket now. Come on. Come on. She put on a jacket, bruh. Anyway, Cora Jade, who's infinitely better than Zoe Stark, talked about how Roxanne Perez got lucky and she doesn't deserve the championship. Then she was attacked by Wendy Chu and they fought like, cats. And it was great. I didn't mind this. They're going to have a match next week. It seems like Cora Jade is going to end up being Roxanne Perez's first opponent for the pay-per-view. Okay. I don't hate that idea. I would have preferred if it be somebody else, but I don't hate it. They're just kind of going back and revisiting the Cora Jade feud. I guess she just has to beat Wendy Chu first. And I'm not against that either, because Wendy Chu, not interested. Sorry. They can do whatever they want with her. Not interested. All right, so Toxic Attraction versus KC Square versus Ivy Nile and Tatum Paxley in a triple threat tag team match for the NXT Women's Tag Team Championships. The match was won by Kaden Carter, who pinned Ivy Nile after she countered the Dragon Sleeper. I love the finish. This match was actually really good. The crowd was kind of sleepy for it because this crowd was kind of sleepy in general anyway. But these girls really popped out some really good stuff, especially Ivy Nile and Tatum Paxley. I was actually very impressed with their tag team moves, like the helped spinning move that Tatum Paxley did when she kind of stepped into Ivy Nile's hands and was flipped up into the air, and she kind of did like this twirly bird thing, and it was nice. And then they did another one off the top rope. It was kind of like the same cyclone thing. It was pretty cool. Katana Chance did an elevated stacked Hurricanrana. I think it was Katana. I think it's Kaden Carter that put her up on the shoulders like a doomsday device. It's like Tatum Paxley was the victim. And then she did the Hurricanrana off the shoulders. It was great. It looked awesome. And then they didn't have her kick out of it. The pin was broken up, which was great. And so the match itself had some really good spots in it. Most of the girls looked good. There was some sloppiness from Gigi Dolan, a little bit of sloppiness. But ultimately, I think the match was better than I expected it to be. Kudos to every girl involved. That being said, there's been a lot of attack on Toxic Attraction, of course, because Mandy Rose got sent home, which whatever. So not everybody's been extra critical of Gigi and JC. They've been the same characters for a year, but now it's like extra under the radar for these people now. And I used to say that maybe they should just replace Mandy with somebody else. That was what I've been saying. I said that probably twice, I think. But now I'm thinking they shouldn't do that. They really should just, in my opinion, have one of them go solo. And I don't mean break up Toxic Attraction. I mean put the other one in the other one's corner. Like, I think Gigi has a little bit... I think I said this too. Like, Gigi should go solo. Even though I don't think Gigi is the better worker. Because I see more mistakes from Gigi than I see from JC. But I think that Gigi has more experience. So I would say let her go solo. And then just put JC as her friend in the corner. And then you could swap them in and swap them out. Like, to me, it would be far more interesting if it was Gigi Dolan that was wrestling Roxanne Perez for the NXT Championship or the women's title, as a way of bringing the title back home to Toxic Attraction. Mandy Rose let us down. I'm going to be the one to bring it back. And then she loses. Then JC James like, I'm the last one left. I have to bring it back. And that's a good way of continuing the storyline and giving them something that's not the tag team titles to chase, because how long can they possibly chase these tag team titles and not win them? Like they've already been 2-time tag team champions. They were tag team champions for a long time already. There's not much more you can do. So you don't need to break up the team. You don't need to add another person to it. You could just let Gigi and JC go solo. And if that means that you have to change Toxic Attraction a little bit to make both of them or one of them more comfortable, then go for it. If this was Mandy's Toxic Attraction, you can change things up a little bit so that Gigi can take control and feel more comfortable and be the leader or whatever. Or JC can take over and be the leader or whatever and change how they approach things. Even means how they change how they dress or whatever. But something needs to change. And I agree that something definitely needs to change. Because you can't be Mandy Rose's Toxic Attraction without Mandy Rose. And the entire gimmick was built around her. and what she does. So unless she's coming back sometime soon, we need to adjust. You got to adjust. Toxic Attraction. Ivy Nile and Tatum Paxley losing. I wasn't a big fan of Ivy Nile being the one who got beat. I'm just never a fan of her losing. But it is what it is. I definitely think Ivy Nile is another one that's probably better off as a solo act, but we haven't gotten there yet. Later, there's questions about Ivy Nile and Tatum Paxley and their tag team future, but Tatum Paxley thinks that they're going to figure it out and they're going to win the tag team titles one day. Then Indus Sher popped up, and they said that the Creed brothers were not showing good judgment. In the Creed brothers, Julius said he's going to fight JD McDonough, and after he beats him, he's going to prove to Indus Sher that he's 100%, and that they won't have any more excuses and won't have to fight them. And I think that that's interesting. It also looked weird that Tatum Paxley and Ivy Nile didn't, they've been friends for a little while now, but it seems like they're not really going anywhere as a tag team. It looks like are they going to tease breaking them up? I hope not. I don't, because my thing is, if I'm talking about taking Toxic Attraction out of the pool and doing something else with them. So we got to replace another team. I think Paxley and Nile are fine. I think they have, they could gel together as a team and be okay. But I don't know what they're doing. And Ivy Nile is she definitely needs to be a solo. She definitely needs to be solo. But I like Tatum Paxley too, so I can't say too much. Also like Fallon Henley. So Fallon Henley, this was a long running story throughout the night. The family is in debt over the bar. Apparently there's back taxes that have not been paid. But Brooks Jensen and Josh Briggs, they have a plan. BJ and JB, they have a plan. And their plan is to win the tag team championships, become so popular that they can host events in the bar. And that will generate income for the bar. I mean, that is smart. That is smart. They're smart guys. Not smart enough, though, because Kiana James came in and said she already paid the back taxes on the bar. And soon she's going to buy the bar from the bank, and they're going to liquidate that joint and turn it into condominiums or whatever the hell she said a couple of weeks ago that she wanted to do to the bar. Fallon Henley got in her face. They got real upset about it. They talked about fighting over the bar, which Kiana James said made no sense to her considering she's about to buy the bar anyway. But Fallon Henley said, well, how about this? You won't have to pay another dime. My family will sign it over to you if I lose. But if I win, you have to go away. So Kiana James accepted those terms, which are just as stupid as the previous terms, but we're trying to get a match out of this. Okay, we're trying to get a match out of this whole thing. So later in the show, JB and BJ, they have a promo about facing New Day and talking about going balls to the wall and they want to help the bar and everything. Then Kiana James appears, and she just wanted to give Brooks Jensen some good luck. And Fallon Henley, of course, is offended by this. She's like, what are you doing here? Even Mackenzie Mitchell is being messy, standing there like, what is going on? What are you doing? And so Kiana James tells her, like, I might be all business, but I'm still a woman. And I was like, oh, no. That was cheeky. What made it even funnier is that during the match, the tag team championship match, JB and BJ versus the New Day, Kiana James was sitting in the crowd, watching Brooks Jensen perform. And she seemed happy in some points. Of course, she seemed disappointed that they lost. So we're telling that story now. Now she's going to be very upset with Brooks Jensen for being defeated. The New Day won, of course. This match was actually better than I expected it to be. I don't like BJ and JB, but at least they did good here. The New Day was tremendous. Earlier in the night, the New Day was hazing Pretty Deadly by sending them on a treasure hunt. They had to go and get all of these highfalutin, ridiculous items like Ahmed Johnson's Road Warrior shoulder pads and Tyler Breeze's selfie stick. They had to collect all of these things in order to get a tag team championship match They failed to collect any of them, of course, because who knows where any of that crap is other than the Stanford warehouse where almost all of that shit is. They're going to get Ben Brown on here. He's going to get kidnapped by Pretty Deadly, and they're going to put glitter all over him or something. Anyway, they want to do the Pledge of Allegiance, but Kofi Kingston said, nope, yesterday's price is not today's price. So they're going to have to do something next week in order to try to get a tag team title match. So New Day, instead of having them wrestle for it, they're going to humiliate them and make them chase them around doing stuff. Like they're probably going to make them tea or some shit next week. But the match itself was actually pretty good. Brooks and Jensen versus New Day. I enjoyed it. You know, Kofi Kingston was played the sort of cocky veteran, how he wrestled Jensen by, you know, doing the New Day stuff, and it was great. You know, I really appreciated how good New Day was in this match. So I can't complain too much. And the right guys won, because JB and BJ, they suck. Oh, they're not good. Woo-wee, they're not good. I don't like them. I don't like these guys. They suck. I know y'all probably do like them. I don't like them. They suck. There's another promo for Oru Mensa. Apparently there's a reboot, because he said something about music and wrestling having the same vibe. And I was like, okay. I wonder where you went, bro. Because you kind of disappeared. But he said the club is like his home away from home. Or I'm like, oh, God. Is he going to hang around with KC Squared? They're party animals, too. They do glow sticks and everything. He's going to hang out with them. You know, they could be like a triplet. Maybe. Weren't they hanging out with some guys? Oh, yeah, they was hanging out with JB and BJ before. Yeah. So, I don't know. Maybe Oru Mensa could hang out with them. I think they figured out that they changed his name but didn't give him a gimmick. So now they took him off TV and decided, okay, we don't know what to do to give you a gimmick. So we're going to put you out there, same name. Just you like the club life. So you're going to be Black Damian Priest. Except for not as cool. I don't know. Oru Mensa, you're in trouble, brother. Gotta tighten this up. It's not looking good for you. All right, so Roxanne Perez did a sit down with Booker T, and this was awesome. I really like the dynamic here. Booker T, the proud dad, said he feels like Morpheus in the Matrix, and that Roxanne was the one, and that he's known her for 5 years. Since she was 16 years old, she came to Reality of Wrestling, said that she wanted to do this, and in 9 years of work, she won the tag team titles, the breakout tournament, and now she's the women's NXT champion. And she told Booker T when she first started she wanted to be a women's champion. And now here it is. And then she very, very sweetly, and I think this was tremendous right here. I love this. She was like, champ to former champ, do you have any advice for me? And you can see you can see the little light in Booker T's eyes, and he's like, you know, the butterflies in your stomach. There's always going to be butterflies. You got to stand up and fly straight. And he says, times are going to get tough, but you'll get through it. And then said he was proud of her. And I was like, this God, shit. It doesn't give Roxanne Perez a character, but it individualizes the shit out of her. It really shows you where she came from. But there is pictures of her doing squats in Reality of Wrestling. There's pictures of her as a child. There's pictures of her wrestling in Booker T's ring. And then they juxtaposed that stuff to King Booker and all that stuff. And it really showed you their relationship. And it was great. It was tremendous. This was fantastic. I think, however, that Roxanne Perez should probably turn heel. I know that's ridiculous. Most people are going to say, why would you do that? You just did something tremendously awesome. Like, Booker T shouldn't change his opinion of her. But the whole thing is she's a prodigy. You know, she's accumulated all of these great awards within 1 year. She is a heel, right? That's some shit. That's some heel shit. She should be standing in the ring talking about, I dominated this place in 9 months. I came in the door not knowing my asshole from my elbow, and in 9 months, I'm at the top of the division. I won the tag team titles already. I won the breakout tournament already. Literally, that's nothing more for me to do. You know, everybody and she should call people out who've been there for a long time, like Indy Hartwell. You've been here forever. You've done nothing. You know, that would be a great heel character, and Booker T could be over there laughing at it. Like, She knows she right, man. She got a good point. And that would at least give her some character. But, her being sort of the shy student of Booker T, I like that. It was very cute, but she can't do that every week. That doesn't roll over week to week. That was great here. She needs something that can roll over week to week for other people to respond to. If there was another Booker T student on this roster who they could play with and have her be the teacher's pet and the other one be sort of the bad girl, and maybe Booker T never believed in me or something like that, that would work out. If Athena was still on the roster, let's say, that it would work out, because Athena is a former Booker T student and she could be the veteran and say, Booker didn't come when I won the NXT title and put his arm around me and be all super nice and sweet and everything. He didn't cry when I won. That's the kind of thing that if you're going to have this kind of angle, the kind of thing that you need on the other end. And I know Booker T really does a good job with the female wrestlers that he has. There needs to be one in here that can go at Roxanne, who trained with her. That maybe there's some footage of them training together, hanging around together or something like that to add some meat to this. Because this was good, definitely. But what does it mean next week or 2 weeks from now? What does it mean then? All right, yeah. So not Ava Rain, goddammit, Isla Dawn. She was hanging out on some boxes. I don't know why. She was just hanging out on some boxes. And Alba Fire is about ready to bash her goddamn skull in with his baseball bat when she blew some red mist. It's like some red smoke into Alba Fire's eyes. And Alba Fire, of course, was selling the shit out of this. So there was 3 segments of Alba Fire. My eyes. Oh, my eyes. And then one of which involved Grayson Waller very inconsiderately storming into the trainer's room, demanding to know where Braun Breaker was as she was being tended to. And that one was actually funny. Later, of course, the smoke cleared from her eyes and she was medically cleared to have her match. So she was going to wrestle Sol Ruca. Sol Ruca, you remember her? They did vignettes for Sol Ruca. Sol Ruca, who was trending on Twitter after she broke out her finisher for the first time ever on Level Up. It is some kind of flippity doodah RKO. It was nasty. It was a nasty looking move. And it led to her trending on Twitter and people being very excited to see her again. It even made some independent wrestler be very upset because the indie wrestler claimed that she created the move. But, of course, nobody gave her any credit for it. I don't know if it was a male or a female. I'm not quite honest. I don't remember. But they claim to have created the move, and of course it's more popular because Sol Ruca has a bigger platform and all that bullshit. And if nobody saw it, nobody saw it. Nobody saw Sol Ruca do it either. It was on fucking Level Up. Somebody who watches Level Up tweeted it out, and then it blew up as people saw it. Even Triple H talked about it. So I'm thinking, okay, Sol Ruca, she's about to come out here and they're about to do the big move on TV so the entire NXT universe can see it, right? Wrong. Her opponent is Alba Fire. And I'm thinking, that doesn't do Sol Ruca any good. That's face versus face. That doesn't do Sol Ruca any good. Why would you put her in a face versus face match? That's dumb. So then Isla Dawn attacks Alba Fire during Alba Fire's entrance, bashes her arm in between metal steps with a baseball bat. Sol Ruca did nothing, of course, because nothing says babyface like standing there and watching the other babyface get their arm broken. And so the match never occurred, and Alba Fire got obliterated with this bat. So they really putting over Isla Dawn here. She was also having a wicked outfit that she had on. I didn't understand it at all. It was very busy. But it was interesting, at least. Alba Fire and Isla Dawn is continuing. I would have preferred for us to actually get Sol Ruca in a squash match where she could actually broke out that move and get it over. She might be the first person, for the first time in a long time, somebody who was trending over a single move. Like, nobody knew who this chick was. Nobody cared who she was. She did one move. All of a sudden, everybody knows who she is now. Why not capitalize on that? You already did the vignettes building her up. She's been on Level Up for weeks now. Why is she not involved in a storyline? Why? I don't know what her voice sounds like anymore. She has no gimmick outside of I like to swim and I like surfing. And I'm very bendy and flexible. Okay. It's 99% of the females on the roster. Sheesh. Sheesh. But at least, I guess it was something. Unfortunate. I guess we'll have to see her do the big move on Level Up. We have to watch Level Up to see it, and I'm not going to do that. I'm not about to watch Level Up to see a move when she could have done it on TV. Who cares? Moving on. Indy Hartwell was defeated by Elektra Lopez in a match that the crowd literally, they chanted for Indy a few times, but they couldn't have cared less about this. Elektra Lopez hit Indy Hartwell in the head with some brass knuckles. Booker T called Elektra Lopez a brick house, which is always funny to hear. I feel bad for Indy because she should definitely not still be in NXT, but at the same time, it's the only place where she's over, and it's unfortunate because at this point she's kind of barely over, Like nobody really reacted in this match, and I felt bad for her. Like I really did, because she's been in NXT for so long. But, there's nothing you can do. And I feel bad for Elektra Lopez too, because she should be on the main roster as well with Legado del Fantasma, but at least in the tag team with Zelina Vega, but fuck. Now she's basically stuck in NXT doing nothing. And this storyline has no heat to it. It doesn't have any. And the brass knuckles didn't really help matters either, so whatever. There was a Chase University Christmas party. Thea Hale got Andre Chase a sweater. A couple of students got him a fruitcake. Like, why does everybody get him a fruitcake? Why would you do that? That's just the question. Like, a bunch of people got him fruitcakes. Then he screamed at a guy about how he was allergic to fruitcake, and that the guy wanted him to die or something like that. He cussed the guy, from asshole to appetite. It was funny. Then Duke Hudson says, the Christmas party is kind of early. He said, I thought Christmas is on Sunday. It's Thursday. Then he tricked one of the students into giving up his gift. And then he presented the gift to Andre Chase and had a very scumbag look on his face. Duke Hudson is definitely up to no good, bruh. He's definitely up to no good. And I'm wondering what he's setting Andre Chase up for. And you know what? I can't wait, because Thea Hale is very excited about this too. She got all in on the hug and everything. It was great. It was funny. He's about to destroy Chase University from the inside, it seems like. And this is the first time he really did some heel shit. Like when he, tricked the guy into giving up his Christmas present for Andre Chase. That was funny. So I'm interested in where they're going with this. Another storyline, Ava Raine was just hanging out outside, doing whatever The Rock's daughter is doing, not watching Black Adam. And, The Rock getting booted from the DC Cinematic Universe was hilarious. Not because it was in any way the right thing to do. It's only because it seemed like for the first time in a long time, The Rock has kind of been, pat on the head and brushed aside. I think this is the first time we've ever seen this in Hollywood, where The Rock was just kind of like, yeah, your movie was kind of cute, but it bombed. So can you move over? Can you get out of the way, please? Thank you. And we're doing something else. So James Gunn is now controlling the DC Cinematic Universe, and Black Adam won't be in it, at least not initially. So that sucks. Also, Henry Cavill, who also thought he was going to be the cornerstone of the Cinematic Universe, not him either. So, if you're a DC fan, I don't know what they're going to do. It's not looking very good for you, I can tell you that much. They're recasting everybody. Ezra Miller's movie's apparently still coming out. Hey, it is what it is, man. Henry Cavill can't get a movie. The Rock is being shelved because Black Adam supposedly bombed. He's, of course, denying this, but Warner Brothers are sure that it bombed. And they've already put it up on the streaming service. And this back and forth between them and The Rock has been entertaining, to say the least. But I shouldn't be talking about The Rock. We're talking about The Rock's daughter. So she's hanging out. And Malik Blade, Idris Enofe, and Odyssey Jones, they're about to go party because that's what all these guys seem to do. That's all they care about. So Ava Raine questioned them about this and about them chasing fleeting emotions, like, good tides or whatever. These guys are like, look, man, we're not trying to hear that. We're not interested in that old schism BS. We just want to go have fun. So then, of course, Joe Gacy and his boys showed up. And they talked about how they're a family and how they have, real bonds and real this and real that. And these guys are all phony. So they're going to have a match next week. Okay, whatever. In the final segment, Drew Gulak is training in the ring. And Hank Walker, security guard, pops up, says that, he knows that he's new to wrestling. He knows he can get good at this if he really puts some effort in. He's watched Drew Gulak as Drew Gulak has been recruiting. And he just kind of wants some pointers. She wants some advice. So Drew Gulak invites him to a seminar he's going to be having next week. He doesn't want him to participate. He just kind of wants him to watch. And Hank Walker promises that he'll be there. And you know what? This is actually not a bad idea. I like the idea that Hank Walker was given a job because he's a tough, raw-boned guy. He's a big bruiser of a guy. Not a very good wrestler. But he's, a big, tough kid. And there's potential there. And he's got the work ethic. He wants to work hard. He wants to try to be good at wrestling. And Drew Gulak being the kind of guy who says, you know what? I'm willing to give you a shot. Now, clearly, he's going to get schooled by Charlie Dempsey and a bunch of other people. And that's going to lead to his growth. But I'm okay with that. Because I think this is a good character for, him to be like, this is a new endeavor for me. This is a new business for me. And I got to go out there and try it. So, I liked it. I like it. No, not bad. So, the episode of NXT was very solid. The Grayson Waller bit was good. The matches really delivered. Maybe could have added a little bit more story to the matches, but they were pretty good. A lot of story throughout the show. A lot of little segments featuring a lot of different characters. Not too much of any one person. There was 3 segments of Alba Fire and her thing with Isla Dawn. Multiple segments of Grayson Waller. Braun Breaker did appear. Nobody disappeared. There's a short segment for Roxanne Perez. You didn't get an opportunity to say nobody was there. Yes, I think that the Nikita Lyons Zoe Stark business is dumb. It's real dumb because you have a slam dunk star on your hands as far as how she looks. And the work rate will come along. But then you have the work rater who, no matter what she does, she's never going to be charismatic and over. And we're just going to force feed her to everybody. Sure, if that's what you desire, but I don't desire that. But that was the only dumb shit on the show that I thought was like real dumb. Maybe they need to take some time to reboot Toxic Attraction, take them off TV for like a month and reboot them, or need to cut a promo so they can reboot and maybe change up some things. I really like the Kiana James stuff. She was on TV multiple times. She's doing a really good job in terms of her character. She's starting to come through a lot. I like Fallon Henley too. She's starting to come through. I'm not a big fan of JB and BJ, but whatever. It is what it is on that tip. The New Day as the tag team champions doing stuff with Pretty Deadly. Pretty Deadly was not wanting to watch them gyrate, so they looked away and put their hands up and everything. Was pretty funny. I generally enjoyed NXT this week. Nothing really pissed me off. So, nothing that really upset me or I thought like we were going down the wrong path outside of the Nikita Lyons loss. Wesley was minimal. Dijak, minimal. Tony D'Angelo, unfortunately, was minimal, but we'll be seeing him next week. Apollo Crews and Carmelo Hayes, good promo segment between them. Can't complain, man. Solid as hell episode of NXT. What do you guys think? Like, share, subscribe. I'll talk to you guys later, man. Peace out.